for education in Missouri. Why not?
You never know. He might show up with Governor Parson and maybe they'll work something out, right?
Oh, boy.
So you're here to talk a little bit about the standards, the proficiency standards when it comes to students in the state of Missouri. How are Missouri students doing?
Yeah, so, it's a kind of an important topic right now because the governor has appointed 2 new people to the State Board of Education this morning or yesterday. And so
Governor Parson
did, yes. So we've got a quorum and they can vote now. They're a functioning board. And, they've got a lot of stuff that they need to start working on. And one of them is to, I guess they're going to revamp again our state accountability system called MSIP. And that'll be number 6.
Okay.
And what we found out this week from a national study is sort of on something else is that of all the 50 states, 49 of them have made their state tests harder and made their accountability systems more rigorous in the last 8 years. And just 1 made their test easier. And that would be
Missouri,
the state of Missouri.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the reasoning behind that?
So, it could be any number of things. But one thing is that those test score points go into this accreditation thing, whether you're accredited, provisionally accredited, or unaccredited. And as you know, districts that are unaccredited, a couple things kick in. Number 1, you can have charter schools. And number 2, your students can transfer out.
Yeah.
So districts
comes down to money.
Yeah. So districts like Normandy, where students were transferring out, they finally just got up and over that bar. And we don't know if they got over the bar because the bar got lowered, basically. The test got easier. And it's also just not a proud moment to pull up a national study with a whole map of the United States and only one state is colored red, which is Missouri, because we're the only ones who actually dumbed down our test.
Yeah, I'm looking right now on showmeinstitute.org, and there's a headline there. It says, like a sore thumb, Missouri's testing standards buck national trend. And you can see this map that Susan is talking about, and right there in the center is our little red Missouri. First of all, how do you feel about the Board of Education, the appointees that were just made, and their ability to correct the situation?
Well, I think for me, what I would like to see is a variety of points of view. And it does seem like at least one of them is open to ideas around education reform, which I'm hopeful about. Also, this idea of creating an accountability system, on the national assessment, Missouri's been flat for 10, 12 years maybe. We look like we're doing better just because we made the test a little easier.
Yeah.
But in fact, our performance has been very flat. And so to me, I think it's time to at least start talking about some different things like charter schools throughout the state, like giving parents more options. And I hope that the state school board will be open to those conversations. And if not, without that being said, a new accountability system should have teeth to it, right? It should tell you if the school is doing well, if the district's doing well. If they can use it for cover, then it's really not an accountability system. They're not really being held accountable.
Certainly. I'm going to ask you a very elementary question because I think that sometimes people don't. I know I certainly hear a lot of the terms and I don't always know the difference between them. But when you talk about school choice and you talk about charter schools and you talk about districts like Normandy or failing districts where kids are trying to get out of them, not get into them, talk to me a little bit about charter schools and how that translates to an option for parents who want the best for their kids.
So I was just reading something this morning about Florida. And in Florida, about half of all students have put together some sort of education program that involves some form of choice, right? So you've got charter schools, they've got actually vouchers, they've got dual enrollment, they've got this very robust system where parents can say, okay, what's going to be the best school for my child this year? And they have options. In Missouri, we don't really have that option. So even in high-performing districts, there's always going to be children for whom their assigned public school isn't the best one, right? And there are kids who are or you just want another option. Maybe you want language immersion or a Montessori or a Waldorf or a classics. There's a number of reasons why parents would want more than just plain vanilla, what they have in their freezer. They might just want chocolate. There's a number of reasons why parents want and deserve to have some choices when it comes to where their child goes to school.
So if you put, any child or any parent at Baskin Robbins with 31 flavors and you see all these options, nobody goes, well, that's a terrible idea. We want you to have vanilla. But we are saying we want to limit or, not even provide options.
No options.
What is the defense behind the limitation. Why limit? Who's fighting for that, and why are they winning?
So I would say it is the defenders of the status quo. It's been done this way a long time. And
who benefits from it?
People who are in control of the system and control of the money, which would be local school boards, superintendents, right? The power goes with the money, right? So they control the money, and they don't really want that to change in any meaningful way. So if you will let parents decide where their tax dollars that they've given in order to educate their child are spent, that takes out some of their control. And I think there's just a lot of fear around that rather than embracing it. I mean, again, I was reading today that in Detroit, the charter schools and the district schools are going to work together and create a single transportation system, and they're going to collaborate on special ed. So there are so many opportunities where we don't have to be enemies. We could be working together, but there still is just the message that has been beat to death in Missouri is one of fear, like it's going to somehow kill the public schools.
So we're talking about expanding options for parents for their children, because the truth of the matter is parents know what's best for their children.
Yeah.
Parents just do. We don't need a government stepping in and doing the parenting for the kids. We actually need to encourage parents to take control of their children and to not rely on other people to just shuffle you through the process. So you're talking about expanding option, offering choices to people because they know their children, they know what would be best serving them. And we're talking about figuring out ways to provide that for these families. How does the Show Me Institute support, what are they actually doing to make that possibly come to fruition?
Right. So we do a couple of things. We do a lot of digging into the Missouri data. I mean, we pull down everything DESE has to offer and other things. And we have been taking a look at how these schools are actually performing things like chronic student absenteeism and graduation rates versus college and career ready. So we look at what the data really are saying, not what that APR label tells us is going on. And we're also keeping track of national research and doing a little research of our own, and then going down to Jefferson City and talking to legislators in terms of providing them real, hard, clear evidence and data that they can use as they think about what would be the best policies.
At this point in time, how receptive is the legislature in Jefferson City to expanding choice for Missouri parents and their students?
Well, they did pass a course access law this year, which now every parent in the state has the option of sending their child to either one course or a full-time virtual education now, which is a choice, and it's going to be an important one for a lot of people. And I think that there is support for expanding parental options, but there's also, of course, a lot of resistance to it. So I think it's, to me, just a matter of continuously informing parents and informing legislators. Like, this is the reality. It's 2018. People want more choices, and parents are demanding it. And then hoping that they look at the evidence and they come to the same conclusion.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're always comparing ourselves politically to other countries, and education is always one of those where the United States doesn't stack up where you would hope it would. And then to hone it down to a state-to-state level, it's unfortunate that Missouri is lowering their standards for their students, because the kids here in Missouri are just as capable as any kids anywhere else.
Of course they are.
And it's really an investment in the children, which is an investment in Missouri's future, because they're the future moneymakers and job takers of Missouri. There's no better investment than offering the best possibility for these children to get a quality education where they have an expectation they have to meet, and they can exceed that expectation.
I think that's right. We want to stay competitive. We want to be generating a great workforce and college and career-ready students. And so we have to hold ourselves accountable and make sure that we're looking at the right information and not just, hiding under systems that don't give you any information.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Susan Pendergrass with the Show Me Institute. You can see everything that the Show Me Institute has to offer you at showmeinstitute.org. Wonderful, just wealth of information and resources there. These are the topics that they talk about. How can you hate this? Individual liberty, economic opportunity, educational freedom, and good government. It's pretty much sums it all up. And we appreciate having you here.
Thank you so much.
And really, investing in the future of these children and saying it's not good to lower the standards so that we don't look so bad. Let's actually go out on a limb here for our kids and invest in educational opportunity for these children, because they deserve it. They certainly do. Showmeinstitute.org. We'll take